Good day. Welcome back to the Vitality Project. I'm Dr. Bob. I want to thank you for joining me today. Thank you. Yesterday, we continued our exploration. We've been looking at the roots of your Vitality Project, which is to say the roots of my own career in psychology and in working in addiction education. We've been looking at one of the true giants of modern psychology. Specifically, we've been looking at Dr. Carl Jung and his work. And so far, we've seen that he emphasized and consistently stressed our being embodied, our being intelligent, our being creative, and our being spiritual in our individual development. And that he believed that these realms, these aspects of being human, serve us not only in terms of our overall health, but if we get more specific about it, is that recovery in all forms of addiction, recovery from addiction or enslavement, as we've been calling it, requires that we pay attention to our bodies, to our minds, to our souls, and to our spirits. I'm curious, what did you discover when I asked you to reflect? Yesterday, I asked you to reflect on how well you're doing in terms of cultivating in your life creative forms of self-expression. How'd that go? And also, I asked you to self-assess in terms of how it's going for you in terms of deepening into regular engagement with personally meaningful spiritual resources. How'd you fare with that? There's one more component of Carl Jung's work that I really want to name here because I see it as crucial to both recovery in general, and also it's really implicit in all of our work here at your Vitality Project. And it was Jung's idea of the shadow. He was the one that introduced into contemporary psychology this idea of the shadow. To Jung, the personal shadow is that part of ourselves that we just as soon others not know about. In fact, it's not that unusual that we make extra efforts to even hide from ourselves the personal shadow. So it's not only from others, but it's from us ourselves. For today, what I'd like you to see is I'd like you to see if you can list 3 qualities or maybe attitudes or behaviors of yours which you see as representing your personal shadow. Remember, this is the part of yourself that you try not to show to the world. I want to make a little note here, and that is this, that others oftentimes can spot our shadows even if we don't want them to, and sometimes before we ourselves do. And so it may be hidden to us, but not necessarily to others, especially those that are close to us. So I want you to list these 3 shadow aspects, and once you've done that, I want to ask you to provide a few reflections after each one of these behaviors or attitudes or characteristics that you've noted, basically explaining what is it about that characteristic, that shadow part of yourself, that makes you want to keep it secret. Let's see what you discover. This will be the first part. We'll come back tomorrow to expand on this idea of the personal shadow and apply it specifically to addiction recovery. I want to thank you for joining me today. I appreciate very much your supporting me here. I wish you well with this exercise invitation I've given you, looking at the personal shadow. And I hope that you'll come back and join me tomorrow as we begin to unpack even further Jung's idea of the shadow and then apply it to our own health, healing, and well-being. In between now and when I see you next, please stay safe, be well, and we'll rejoin again soon.